Envision awakening consistently with a perfectly clear feeling of direction. Not influenced by mishaps, undaunted by the disorder around you, and tirelessly centered around the main thing. It sounds practically godlike, right? However, this was the regular reality for perhaps of the most influential man in antiquated history. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman head and an emotionless thinker. His own notes, an assortment that has endured centuries, aren't only thoughts of a past period, yet are startlingly significant exhortation on the best way to tackle the force of self-control. In the midst of the commotion of life today, we're plunging profound into the core of apathy. 1. Investigating its standards, and not as conceptual ideas but rather as viable devices for living a more focused, satisfied life. Aloofness shows us how to transform difficulty into advantage, personal unrest into quietness, and life's capriciousness into a wellspring of solidarity. Whether you're battling with day-to-day stressors, looking for inward harmony, or hoping to raise your efficiency, understanding the apathetic lifestyle offers significant bits of knowledge. In a world overflowing with vast interruptions and moment delights, the apathetic way of thinking grounds us in the temperances of shrewdness, mental fortitude, equity. Furthermore, balance. It's about something beyond persevering through life, it's tied in with flourishing in it. Regardless of what comes your direction along these lines, on the off chance that you're prepared to change how you view and handle life's difficulties, stay tuned as we unload the strong, life-changing lessons of Marcus Aurelius and how they can be applied to develop a strong, trained life today as we set out on this excursion through unemotional way of thinking. Furthermore, the significant lessons of Marcus Aurelius, assuming that you value what we're doing here. A basic free blessing I'll ask from you is to stir things up around town button, likewise skirt no piece of the video. Since, in such a case that you're here, you're not quite the same as the greater part, so see yourself as an exemption. Furthermore, remain tuned for the one-of-a-kind experiences we'll investigate together. At the core of Marcus Aurelius' way of thinking is the conviction that self-control starts with tracking down your motivation. However, what does it truly mean to track down your motivation? It's tied in with finding the main thing to you, what drives you at your center. Furthermore, adjusting your day-to-day activities to that more profound calling Marcus Aurelius frequently expounded on. Living in concurrence with nature, which in apathetic terms implies figuring out your job. When it's all said and done, acting as one with your ethics. For Aurelius, the reason wasn't simply an elevated ideal, yet a viable compass that directed all his choices. From the everyday to the great, he trusted that figuring out one's motivation pushes you up in the first part of the day, prepared to confront the difficulties of the day. It keeps you undaunted when allurements entice you to wander, and there's no need to focus on affected accomplishments. Or on the other hand, outside honors, however, about satisfying the obligations that life has spread out for you. Playing out each errand with responsibility and honesty in a cutting-edge setting. Finding your motivation can frequently feel overpowering. We live in a world soaked with decisions. What's more, interruptions that can lead us from our actual ways. Here is where apathetic insight isn't simply useful. However, fundamental apathy helps us to strip back the layers of shallow cravings and passing feelings to uncover what is genuinely fundamental. For our prosperity and development, it urges us to ask ourselves, what is really worth my significant investment? How could my activities today add to everyone's benefit and to my self-improvement? As we investigate how to apply this rule in our lives, ponder what you are normally attracted to, where you find profound fulfillment, or what challenges you are roused to address. These are pieces of information to your motivation, and when distinguished, the unemotional act of everyday reflection becomes priceless by consistently adjusting your activities to your motivation. By expressing no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what does, you develop the self-control important to carry on with a significant and effective life. We should accept this understanding from Marcus Aurelius and apply it day to day. Ask yourself every morning, What am I intended to do today, and each night have I lived consistent with my motivation? Over the long run, this training won't just form self-control, yet additionally change your life into a more deliberate and satisfying excursion. At the point when Marcus Aurelius expounded on self-control, a common subject in his appearance was the significance of depending on oneself. Depend on yourself isn't just about confidence. In any case, a vital piece of the emotionless way of thinking which underscores the significance of individual responsibility. What's more, freedom. This isn't about disconnection or dismissing help from others. Maybe it's tied in with perceiving that a definitive obligation regarding our activities, responses and self-awareness rests inside us. In apathy, zeroing in on what is inside our control is principle. Aurelius frequently examined the force of oneself in defying anything that challenges life, tosses our direction. By depending on ourselves, we tap into our internal versatility and strength. This standard helps us to confide in our capacities to explore through life's vulnerabilities. What's more, misfortunes, it's tied in with building certainty, not through haughtiness but rather through ability. Furthermore, one's very own careful comprehension limits and ideals. This confidence is freeing yet additionally overwhelming in the present interconnected world, where assessments and guidance are continually readily available. Figuring out how to pay attention to our internal voice can be testing anyway. Apathy trains us to sift through the commotion. Also, to confide in our explanation decisions. Aurelius trusted that this interior direction was the most solid committee one might have, on the grounds that it is established in reason and goodness. By depending on ourselves, we likewise foster independence in our dynamic cycles. Released inconsistently, however, about the tranquil, consistent commitment to everyday undertakings, which all things considered manufacture a trained life. For Aurelius, appearing ordinary was inseparable from the unemotional thought of living as per nature. To him, nature requested of us to exist as well as to take part in life effectively, to add to the world through our activities regardless of how little or routine they could appear. Every day introduced itself as another field, not so much for great fights, be that as it may, for demonstrating one's obligation to their standards and obligations. It's in the consistency, the regular exertion, where character is assembled and tried in this day and age, where interruptions are numerous and inspirations can be transient. Appearing regular gains considerably more importance. Feeling enlivened one day is simple. What's more, totally off course. The following here: apathy shows us the worth of consistency.